Need to improve your club on Ultimate Team? Check out IGDM for safe and reliable coins with the link in the description. Get an extra 5% discount with code NA. What's up, y'all? With this video, I'm going to show you guys the 541. It's going to be a tactic that you can use if you're trying to protect the lead, the last 30, 15 minutes. If you need a formation to just switch back to play passive, keep the ball, and prevent the other team from getting the ball as much as you want, this is going to be a tactic that you're going to want to use. I absolutely do not recommend this formation if you're looking for a defensive formation for the whole game. So let's say you find a player that just has a really good team. You don't see yourself winning. This is not really a good counterattack formation. This is just a formation that you want to use for retaining the ball late in the game. I'm going to start doing my formation videos with my camera on just in case, if anyone was wondering what I look like or anything like that. But not much more needs to be said. We're just going to go straight into the instructions for it. I'm not going to explain too much because this formation is a lot more straightforward. And like I said, this is a formation that you only really need to use for, you shouldn't be using this formation for more than like 20, 30 minutes, honestly. And I'll go over as to why that's the case, but this video won't be very long. So going straight into it, we have defensive style balance with 43 width and 69 depth. I know that's not really much different to what you normally see, primarily because this is just a solid defensive system regardless. And the whole point of this formation isn't to have a very good defense. However, it's to basically prevent, giving up a lead or anything like that through keeping the ball as much as possible. And when you keep the ball as much as possible, the objective behind that is to limit how many times the other player can get the ball. Because the reality is with this game, there's no such thing as like a better defense, honestly. And I say that because once the player gets the ball, it's just a matter of when they can score. This game doesn't really have like an actual skill gap in that concern. All it takes is a little bit of luck and your opponent can score really easily. So really there's not much you can do for your defense. The whole point of this formation is to just keep the ball as much as possible so the other team has less chances to get the ball themselves. You'll see that the biggest differences are going to be in our build-up play, in our offense instructions, build-up play balance, chance creation, direct passing. You can use something like possession if you really want to be safe. However, the point of this formation is to still have counter-attacking options. So direct passing is basically just a mix of possession but still gives you the forward runs. And we still want this formation to have an option to attack just in case you can put one more goal in. And I've noticed that this formation is still pretty good for attacking, especially when the other player gets frustrated and they start turning on team press or constant pressure. You'll notice that the other defensive line will be like a mess, and then that one striker will always have like a really good chance to go through with the make a run with the forward through ball, And especially late in the game when stamina is a concern and things like that, you'll find yourself getting a lot of through ball opportunities. So when you get the chance to make a goal scoring opportunity, you find you can do just that through the striker who's going to be making through runs and behind. We'll go into the player instructions in a moment, but obviously 70 width, this is a 5 at the back formation, so we want to maximize our width. And also you're going to want to note that the objective is to get as many long balls from the touchline to the other. I know it's a little bit ratty. No, it's not even a little bit ratty, it's very ratty. However, the whole point of this formation, like I said, keep the ball as much as possible. And having long ball pass, the play style for it, getting from one touchline to the other is going to really help you keep the ball. There's not really any better way to do it. If you're not looking for a ready defensive formation like this, you might as well just click off because, in my opinion, it's just going to get worse from here. 4 players in the box, just to be really brief with this, it's just to minimize the amount of players that go up. We don't need more than 4 because the reality is once you get on that counterattack, you won't even need more than 1 because the whole point is to get the other team to get frustrated, throw too many players up the pitch to try and get the ball off you, and then you get like 1 through ball in, and that's all you need. I could be lowering this if anything, there's not much need to do so, but yeah, 4. And then corners and free kicks, I actually haven't even changed this. You could honestly do 1 and 1, but you're not going to get corners and free kicks late in the game anyways, at least I'd imagine. You should be changing this to 1 regardless, especially even without this formation. Honestly, corners and free kicks are just boring to me. But yeah, 1 and 1 in my opinion. And then going straight into instructions, you're going to have your striker, stay central, get behind, stay forward. It's classic poacher. There's not much more to be said about this guy right here. Just all they really need to do is just have really high pace and really high finishing. Dribbling doesn't even matter that much because they're not going to dribble. But high pace, high finishing, give them a through ball when they get the chance, obviously. Let them score. And then your left wing and your right wing, come back on defense, stay wide. And the reason why we have them on come back on defense is just to, when obviously the other player gets the ball and they try to attack your defensive line, you're going to have basically like a wall of 5 and 4. And that's going to be super frustrating to break down. So come back on defense on both of them is going to be essential. And then stay wide, just so once you get the ball, once the fullbacks receive the ball themselves, or you distribute the ball to the fullback, you'll be able to have a really easy passing option with stay wide. You can enable, come short. But I noticed that when you have that on, they come a little bit too short and you won't be able to advance the ball as far as you really want to. So you have them on balance just in case they can find space deeper in the other team's defense or the other team's midfield, like a gap that's open. Putting them on balance support will basically like give them a proper distance if they find the space, obviously. And then your two fullbacks are gonna be stay back while attacking overlap, and then another one on balance attack overlap. You're gonna want the better fullback to have balance attack, and I know that's weird. However, the thing is, a lot of people don't recognize that with these fullbacks, there's just an issue with how the stamina's set up and everything, where even if you have one on balance attack, as long as they have good enough stats and good enough speed, they can run back in defense in the defensive transition faster than the other team can, which is honestly super dumb. But really the whole point to having this on balance attack is because there's literally no consequence to having an attacking fullback, because they're just going to drop back really fast if they have good enough stats, and Rolfo is like a perfect player for that. And it's also really good in the passing department as well, because one, it's going to be less predictable, because if this guy's obviously like right here on that side of the pitch, this fullback right here is going to be a little bit more higher, so it's just going to be harder to mark for the other player in case he tries to manually mark players himself if he's getting frustrated with how you're playing. So really the benefit of it being asymmetric is evident at this point. And then your two center mids right here, the one closest to your fullback that's on joint or on balance attack, obviously not you can switch this around if you prefer having it on the right side as well. Just make sure you mirror it basically. But the midfielder that's next to the one on balance attack, you're going to want on cover wing, primarily because if they do get the ball in the counter attack and they make a quick counter attack, that midfielder will be able to cover the space pretty easily. But that's really just like a last resort type thing. Like you're not going to really see it happen that much. You won't really notice that being an issue. It's just there just in case basically. And then yeah, stay back while attacking, of course. And then your other midfielder is just going to be on stay back while attacking, cover center. And then your three center backs are going to be on stay back while attacking. When it comes to your three center backs, obviously when you switch from your main formation to this formation, you're going to want your CDM to be this guy right here, right placed in the middle. Primarily because if you have your proper CDM, this guy's going to have really good passing, and he's hopefully going to have the long ball pass playstyle. It's a benefit if you have his long ball pass plus, because you want this guy, one, obviously when he gets the ball right here, he's going to be less, involved in defense, ironically, because he's going to have like the midfield right in front of him, and since he's right in the middle, it's really these two center backs that are going to be defending more often than not. So this guy is basically just going to be like the playmaking center back, and the whole goal is that when he gets the ball to his feet, you can distribute the ball from either flank. And since he's in the middle, it's going to be really hard to predict. He's going to have good enough dribbling to get out of scenarios that might not favor him. He's not going to be clunky either, and he's just going to be unpredictable because you won't know what side he's going to try to pass to, especially if you can spice things up with your left stick dribbling. And then obviously your two other center backs are just going to be, the center backs you played with, obviously. You can sub players in if necessary. However, I don't like doing that myself, just in case I do end up conceding, because, this game can screw you over at times. And then having to like revert, and then all of a sudden you have a left back playing striker, So if you do have to make a sub, or if you think it's late enough in the game where you're confident that you can put on this formation and not concede, I would make subs accordingly. However, I would try to avoid it if you can. Like for example, this Chiesa right here. I know it's weird having him playing that CDM role. However, honestly, I don't think stats matter that much this FIFA. I feel like I've been doing it so far, and he's honestly least of an issue. Especially since, like I said, his objective is to just really retain the ball rather than defend. I don't have much of an issue putting him at CDM. And then before I forget, you're gonna have your goalkeeper, ironically this time on balance, primarily because late in the game there's always like weird movements and stuff by your defenders because of stamina and stuff like that. Having them on balance is to just make sure that they're not making any unnecessary movements in case you get chips late in the game because your center backs were out of position, things like that. Keep them on the line basically. Other than that, this formation is really straightforward, honestly. Like I said, if it wasn't clear already, please do not use this formation to start off a game. It's just going to be really hard to score because the objective of this formation is to not score. And ironically, it's not even to defend. It's just to keep the ball for as long as possible, because eventually the reality is you will lose the ball. But the objective with this formation is to not lose it as much as you normally would if your previous formation. And then obviously if you do lose the ball, you're going to have a wall of 5 defenders with another 4 on top of it. So from there, it's really just up to how you can defend as well. I have been using this formation when I'm trying to protect a lead, like it hits the 75th minute and I have a 1 goal or 2 goal lead. And I know sometimes like things just happen and it gets annoying. I'll just toggle this formation. I'll get the ball to, the defender's feet. And then I won't focus on just, spamming it from touchline to touchline, because one, that's just really predictable. But I'll try to get the midfielders involved too. So if a midfielder is not open, or another center back's not open, then I will switch it from one side to another. Because the irony is, the goal is to actually try to keep the ball in the midfield, even though there's not many midfielders. Because once you realize you're getting overwhelmed or something, you can then switch the ball from your center backs to, the fullbacks and vice versa. But again, the objective is to just find the passes that are open rather than prioritizing the easy passes, if that makes sense. Still look to obviously progress the ball. Still keep an eye on your striker whenever he can make a run in behind. But other than that, that's really all for this formation. It's pretty straightforward, honestly. And other than that, if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe now. I'm pretty close to 15K. If you have any other questions, don't be afraid to leave a comment because I do answer those as soon as I can. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, that's all.